Cookies and betrayal. The scent of warm vanilla and melting chocolate chips swirled around Lily's tiny kitchen, a comforting aroma that usually calmed her. Today, however, it only amplified the nervous flutter in her stomach. Tom's favorite cookies, perfectly golden brown, cooled on the wire rack. Each one represented a tiny piece of the future she envisioned: cozy nights, shared laughter, and a lifetime of Sunday morning breakfasts just like this one, filled with simple joys. She'd even used the special sea salt he loved, sprinkled delicately on top. She carefully packed them in a cheerful tin, tied with a ribbon the color of his eyes, and checked her watch for the 10th time in as many minutes. Arriving early at his place was a gamble, disrupting his carefully planned schedule. But she wanted to surprise him. She missed him. And the thought of seeing his face light up when he saw the cookies, a tangible expression of her love, made her bold. The hallway outside his apartment was quiet, the air thick with the muted sounds of city life. She raised her hand to knock, then hesitated. A soft murmur drifted through the door, a woman's voice, too high-pitched to be just the television. Lily frowned, her hand falling to her side. She pressed her ear against the cool wood, her heart suddenly hammering against her ribs, a frantic bird trapped in a cage. The murmur became clearer, laced with laughter, and then a sound that made her blood run cold, the unmistakable sound of a kiss. Lily froze, every nerve ending screaming in protest. Her mind refused to process the reality of what she was hearing. It couldn't be. Not Tom. Not her Tom. Then, the door swung inward, revealing Tom locked in an embrace with Daisy. Her sister's arms were wrapped around his neck, her lips pressed against his, her blonde hair cascading down her back like a golden waterfall. Tom's eyes were closed, his face relaxed, utterly content. The tin of cookies slipped from Lily's numb fingers, clattering to the floor, the sweet treats scattering across the linoleum. The sound shattered the intimate moment, and Tom's head snapped up, his eyes widening in horror as he saw Lily standing there, her face a mask of disbelief and pain. Daisy stepped back, her cheeks flushed, her expression unreadable. Lily didn't say a word. She couldn't. The air in her lungs seemed to have evaporated, leaving her breathless and suffocating. Her carefully constructed world, built on trust and love, crumbled around her in that instant, leaving behind only dust and shards of broken promises. Turning, she fled. Each step was a stab of agony, a fresh wave of betrayal washing over her. She ran blindly, tears streaming down her face, the image of Tom and Daisy seared into her memory, a brand that would forever mark her heart. Seeking shelter. Tears welled, blurring the already indistinct world. Lily stumbled into Myers' arms, the familiar scent of lavender and cinnamon a small comfort in the sudden upheaval. I saw them, as she choked out, the words tasting like ash. Myers' arms tightened around her. Saw who, Lily? Take a breath. Tom, and Daisy, Lily gasped, the image flashing behind her eyelids, Tom's hand cupping Daisy's cheek, the intimate press of their lips. They were kissing. A sharp intake of breath was Myers' only reaction before she steered Lily to the worn velvet couch. Those snakes. You need to confront them both, Lily. Don't let them get away with this. Myers' voice, usually a melodic hum, was laced with steel. Especially Tom. He owes you an explanation, a colossal one. Lily shook her head, burying her face in a cushion. I can't. Not yet. I need to think. Her phone buzzed incessantly on the coffee table. Tom. Each vibration sent a fresh wave of nausea through her. She silenced it, unable to bear the sound, the pretense. Days blurred into a hazy montage of unanswered calls and ignored texts. Lily felt like a ghost, detached from her own life. The apartment felt suffocating, each object a reminder of the future she'd meticulously planned, now shattered. She needed space, needed air that didn't taste of betrayal. An idea sparked, a faint glimmer in the darkness. She drove, not knowing where she was going until the familiar dirt road appeared. The towering oak came into view, its branches reaching towards the sky like welcoming arms. The treehouse. Climbing the weathered ladder felt like shedding a layer of her skin. The familiar scent of wood and sunshine enveloped her. The treehouse was exactly as she remembered it. The worn wooden floor, the faded drawings on the walls, the small window overlooking the meadow. This was her sanctuary, the place where she'd escaped as a child, where she dreamt of a future that now felt irrevocably tainted. Here, surrounded by the ghosts of her childhood, Lily felt a fragile sense of calm descend. Maybe, just maybe, she could begin to piece herself back together. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the meadow, painting the world in hues of orange and gold. It was beautiful, heartbreakingly so. Daisy's confession. The ladder creaked ominously under Daisy's weight as she climbed, each rung a painful reminder of her betrayal. The air in the treehouse hung thick with the scent of pine and unspoken accusations. Lily sat perched on the edge of the wooden floor, her back to Daisy, the afternoon sun painting her hair a fiery halo. "Lily, we need to talk." Daisy's voice sounded weak, even to her own ears. Lily didn't turn. "I don't think we do." Her voice was flat, devoid of its usual warmth. Daisy stepped fully into the treehouse, the small space amplifying the tension. "Please, just listen." Lily finally swiveled around, her eyes red-rimmed and stormy. "Why? So you can lie to my face some more?" Daisy flinched. "It wasn't like that. It was a mistake." "A mistake?" "A mistake is tripping on the sidewalk, Daisy, not kissing my fiancé." Daisy closed her eyes, the memory of Tom's lips on hers a burning brand. There's history there, Lily. Before you and Tom were even together. A long time ago." Lily's eyebrows shot up. "What are you talking about?" "Years ago, before you moved back. Tom and we were close. It didn't last, it was just a summer fling, but..." Daisy trailed off, searching for the right words. There was something there. And at the engagement party, with the champagne and the music, it all came rushing back. It was stupid. I panicked. Lily stared at her, speechless for a moment. Then, a harsh laugh escaped her lips. "So, what? You're saying you kissed him because of some teenage crush? That makes it better?" "No. It doesn't make it better. I know that. I'm just trying to explain. I would never intentionally hurt you, Lily. You're my sister." Daisy reached out, her hand trembling. Lily recoiled. "Don't. Just. Don't touch me." She stood up, her gaze fixed on something beyond Daisy, beyond the treehouse, lost in a landscape of hurt. "I need you to leave." Daisy's heart twisted. The gulf between them felt wider than the forest stretching out below. She knew she hadn't fixed anything, maybe she had even made it worse. "Lily, I'm so sorry." Turning, Daisy descended the ladder, each step weighted with regret. The setting sun cast long, distorted shadows, mirroring the fractured state of their relationship. As she reached the ground, she glanced back up at the treehouse. Lily was still there, a solitary figure silhouetted against the fading light. Daisy knew, with chilling certainty, that this was far from over. Tom's plea. You knew? The question escaped Lily as a fractured breath, barely audible over the soughing of the leaves. Daisy, perched on the treehouse railing with precarious ease, visibly flinched. The sunset, typically a source of comfort, now felt like an indictment, staining the scene with hues of treachery. Lily, please hear me out, a Daisy started, but Lily's pain surged, silencing her. Hear you out? You knew Tom. You kissed him. And you kept it from me? Even after I confided in you, gushing about how deeply I cared for him? The joyous light usually dancing in Lily's eyes had drowned, leaving behind pools of raw hurt. She traversed the confined space, the wooden planks groaning underfoot. Daisy dropped from the railing, her expression a canvas of remorse. It was an error in judgment, Lily, ages ago. Before you and Tom were even close. He regretted it immediately. I promise, it was meaningless. The rope ladder scraped against the bark of the tree. Both stilled, recognizing the sound instantly. Daisy, please, a Lily begged, her voice strained. Just, or leave. Daisy hesitated, her gaze darting between Lily and the impending figure. With a defeated sigh, she squeezed Lily's hand and ascended the ladder, leaving Lily to confront Tom. He stepped into the treehouse, his face ashen, his gaze imploring. Lily, let me explain. Explain what, Tom? How you conveniently omitted the fact that you kissed my sister? How am I supposed to trust a word you say after this? Each question punctuated the air with rising intensity, heavy with accusations left unspoken. He moved toward her, reaching for her hand, but she flinched away. It was before, Lily. Before I even knew you existed. Daisy and I, we were young, foolish. A single kiss, a drunken indiscretion at some party. It signified nothing. I swear, the instant our paths crossed, everything altered. You are my world. He raked a hand through his already tousled hair, agitation etched on his features. Please, Lily, you must believe me. I love you. Only you. The plea lingered, saturated with the weight of the past. Lily scrutinized him, searching his eyes for any trace of deceit. The fading sun cast elongated shadows, obscuring his features, rendering his true intentions unreadable. The weight of betrayal. The living room air vibrated with accusations unvoiced. A tempest raged in Lily's chest, a fury she scarcely knew as her own. She teetered between shrieking and dissolving, a dangerous precipice. Turning to Daisy, her tone was a velvet threat. How could you? Daisy's features dissolved, tears carving paths down her face. Lily, spare me, a Lily interrupted, a hand raised, quivering. I witnessed it. Both of you. Tom stirred, the polished floor groaning softly beneath him. He started to speak, but Lily wheeled on him, her gaze as cutting as fractured crystal. And you? Vows of love, direct eye contact, promises of forever, and then this. The act itself remained unspoken, the tableau of their embrace branded onto her memory, a searing mark of humiliation and hurt. He reached, but she recoiled. Don't. Just don't. His familiar cologne, once a comfort, now choked like a shroud of deception. Silence descended, thick and stifling, broken only by Daisy's stifled weeping. Lily's stomach churned, a wave of nausea cresting. Air seemed thin, thoughts scattered, leaving only the crushing weight of their betrayal. I need answers, as she finally breathed, her voice fragile. I need to understand the motive. Yet, even as the words escaped, she feared the truth they might unlock. Tom edged closer, entreaty etched on his face. Lily, it was a lapse. A momentary weakness. It signified nothing, I swear. His words rang false, flimsy in the face of the reality she had seen. Could a kiss, a stolen instant, truly shatter everything they had painstakingly constructed? How could something that felt like such a monumental wrong to her appear so inconsequential to him? Lily stumbled back, her hand finding purchase on the cold, smooth mantle. I can't process this right now. Her gaze flickered between Tom's ravaged expression and Daisy's ravaged face, an overwhelming weariness washing over her. I require space. I need to be alone. Please, both of you, just go. The entreaty hung in the air, a desperate attempt to salvage her sanity. They hesitated, but the raw anguish in her eyes seemed to sway them. Wordlessly, Tom and Daisy retreated, leaving Lily isolated in the echoing hollowness of what she thought was her haven. Finding clarity. The city air tasted acrid, a metallic bite that left Lily gasping. Escape demanded a lungful of clean air, a moment to gather her scattered thoughts, and Graham's farm was the only refuge she knew. The drive unfurled in a swift reel of verdant fields, a stark contrast to the monochrome ruin of her recent life. As her tires crunched on the gravel, the mingled fragrance of honeysuckle and dewy soil enveloped her, a balm for her wounded spirit. On the porch, framed by the amber glow spilling from the kitchen, Graham waited. Lines of hard-won wisdom softened on her face as Lily drew near. "Come in, love," as she murmured, her voice a comforting rasp. "You look like you've wrestled a demon." Inside, the farmhouse was a haven of mismatched charm and beloved clutter. Lily gratefully sank into the armchair, its worn springs singing a familiar, reassuring song. Graham pressed a steaming mug of chamomile into her hands. "Now," she said, settling into the rocking chair, its rhythmic sway a gentle counterpoint to the crackling fire, "tell me everything." The story spilled out, a torrent of bitterness and bewilderment. Tom's faithlessness, Daisy's duplicity, it reeked of theatre, and she'd been a hapless player. As she spoke, she saw the fissures that had always been there. Tom's easygoing nature had often shaded into detachment, and Daisy's craving for approval had been a constant, subtle tax. Had their foundations ever been solid, or were they merely a house of cards destined to topple? "Love ain't always a brass band, Lillibug," Graham said, her eyes dancing with reflected firelight. "Sometimes it's the quiet undercurrent, the grace that blossoms from wreckage. Nursing anger is like clutching nettles, you only poison yourself." The following days unfolded in quiet simplicity. Lily joined Graham in the garden, the cool, yielding earth a welcome anchor. She watched sunsets ignite the horizon, proof that beauty could emerge even after the deepest shadows. One afternoon, fingers busy shelling peas on the porch, she asked, "How do you forgive someone who's hurt you this badly?" Graham paused, her gaze drifting towards the distant hills. "Forgiveness isn't about erasing, child. It's about unlocking yourself from the chains of resentment. It's choosing serenity over torment." A difficult conversation. The scent of honeysuckle hit Lily as she unlocked the front door, a wave of familiarity washing over her. The weekend away had scraped away the raw edges of her panic, leaving a dull ache, a clear path forward. She set down her bag, the thud echoing in the suddenly cavernous hallway. The silence was a relief after the constant chatter of the retreat, but it also amplified the heavy weight of what she had to do. Tom was in the living room, hunched over the coffee table, surrounded by wedding brochures. He looked up as she entered, his face etched with worry. The sight of him, so vulnerable, twisted something inside her. She still loved him. That much was undeniably true. "Hey," he said, his voice hoarse. "How was everything?" Lily sat on the edge of the sofa, leaving a significant space between them. "It was good. I needed it." He pushed the brochures aside, the glossy images of perfect cakes and smiling couples seeming to mock them. "I've been doing some thinking. A lot of thinking." "I have too." She took a deep breath, the floral scent of the room doing little to soothe her nerves. "Tom, I forgive you." His eyes widened, a flicker of hope igniting within them. "Really? You do?" "Yes," she said firmly. "But forgiveness doesn't erase what happened. It doesn't magically fix everything." She watched him, her heart a tight knot in her chest. "I need time. We need time." The hope in his eyes dimmed, replaced by a familiar shadow of despair. "Time for what, Lily?" "To rebuild," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "To rebuild our trust. To heal. I can't walk down that aisle in 2 months pretending everything is okay. I can't." He stood up, pacing the small space. "So, what are you saying? You want to call off the wedding?" "I want to postpone it," as she corrected, the word heavy with implication. "I want to work on us, truly work on us, without the pressure of a looming date. I want to know, beyond any doubt, that we're doing this for the right reasons." He stopped pacing, his shoulders slumped. The silence stretched between them, thick and suffocating. Finally, he spoke, his voice quiet. "Okay. Okay, Lily. Whatever you need. Rebuilding." The waiting room smelled faintly of lavender and regret. Lily fiddled with the strap of her purse, the leather warm and slick beneath her nervous fingers. Tom sat beside her, stiff as a board, his gaze fixed on a motivational poster featuring a blurry mountain range. He hadn't said a word since they'd parked the car. "Relax," Lily murmured, though she wasn't sure who she was trying to convince. The therapist, a woman named Dr. Anya Sharma, emerged, her smile warm and professional. "Lily and Tom? Please, come in." The office was smaller than Lily expected, furnished with comfortable armchairs and a low table. Dr. Sharma settled into her chair and gave them a gentle look. "So, who wants to start?" The silence stretched. Tom cleared his throat. I guess we both messed up." Dr. Sharma nodded. "That's often the case. Lily, how are you feeling about being here?" Lily hesitated, then plunged in. "Terrified. Hopeful. Mostly just tired. Tired of fighting. Tired of hurting." The words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken accusations and buried pain. Tom finally met her gaze, his eyes filled with a vulnerability she hadn't seen in months. They spent the next hour unraveling the tangled mess of their relationship. Lily spoke of feeling neglected, of Tom's increasing distance and preoccupation with work. Tom confessed his insecurities, his fear of inadequacy, and how he'd sought validation in the wrong places. He didn't excuse his actions, but for the first time, Lily felt like she understood the desperation that had driven him. Dr. Sharma introduced the concept of active listening, teaching them how to truly hear each other without interrupting or judging. They practiced reflecting each other's feelings, a clumsy but necessary exercise. Tom, usually so stoic, stumbled over the words, his face flushed with embarrassment. "It's okay to be vulnerable, Tom," Dr. Sharma said gently. "Vulnerability is the cornerstone of intimacy." By the end of the session, Lily felt a flicker of hope. It was going to be a long, difficult road, but maybe, just maybe, they could find their way back to each other. As they walked out of the office, Tom reached for her hand. His touch was hesitant, tentative. Lily squeezed it gently, a silent promise to try. The lavender scent still clung to her clothes, but now, it smelled less like regret and more like a fragile beginning. Forgiveness is a journey. Lily found Daisy in the garden, kneeling amidst the vibrant chaos of petunias and pansies. The afternoon sun cast long shadows, painting the scene in hues of gold and amber. She hesitated, the words she'd rehearsed catching in her throat like thorny vines. Daisy. Daisy looked up, her eyes shadowed with an emotion Lily couldn't quite decipher. Guilt, maybe. Or perhaps a lingering defensiveness. Hey, Lily. Lily squatted beside her, the scent of damp earth and blooming flowers filling her nostrils. We need to talk. Daisy sighed, a puff of air that ruffled a stray strand of her hair. I know. I'm still, or angry, Lily confessed, the words raw and honest. And hurt. More than you can imagine. It wasn't just a kiss, Daisy. It was everything. My trust, my future, everything I thought I knew. She picked at a loose petal of a petunia, tearing it into tiny pieces. I keep replaying it in my head. Your faces, his hands on you. It won't stop. Daisy's hands stilled in the dirt. She scrubbed them clean on her jeans. I know I can't take it back, Lily. And I know I'm sorry isn't enough. But I am sorry. Truly. I let my jealousy get the best of me, and I made a terrible mistake. It was selfish and wrong, and I deeply regret it. I never wanted to hurt you. Especially not like this. Her voice cracked, thick with unshed tears. Lily looked at her, really looked at her. She saw the genuine remorse etched on her sister's face, the vulnerability behind the usual breezy confidence. It didn't erase the pain, but it softened the sharp edges. It's going to take time, Lily said, her voice softer now. I can't just forgive you overnight. It's a process. I understand, Daisy said, her voice barely a whisper. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. To earn back your trust. They sat in silence for a while, the only sound the gentle buzzing of bees flitting from flower to flower. Then, Daisy reached out and took Lily's hand, her touch tentative. Lily didn't pull away. Maybe, Lily said, a flicker of hope igniting within her. Maybe we can start by weeding this flower bed. Together. Daisy squeezed her hand. I'd like that. As they began to pull the weeds, side by side, the silence felt different. Less charged, less hostile. It was a start. A small, fragile seed of forgiveness planted in the fertile ground of their sisterhood. Lily knew the journey ahead would be long and arduous, but for the first time in weeks, she felt a glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, they could find their way back to each other.